from the state of Utah in the United States. And where I am, it is almost 8 o'clock in the evening. So I know that it's the morning for most of you, but it's really connect around the world like we have this opportunity to do. I would like to remind you of a few protocols in addition to the ones that Sanjay reminded you of that will also help video conference be successful. One of the things that you can do to help the video conference run smoothly is to really be an active listener. What does that mean to be an active listener? It means that you are actively engaged in the conversation and you are looking for ways to answer questions that I pose or that friends in your partner schools might pose. By being an active listener, you are able to be present in the video conference, and that will make the video conference more meaningful. Another thing that we like to do is to have each student introduce themselves when they begin speaking. You can do this simply by saying, "My name is Jody," and then you would share your thought, and then when you are done, you would say thank you. That way I know that you have completed your thought as well as your friends and classmates. Sanjay has told me that my video is being impacted due to bandwidth issues, and I apologize for that. Can all of you still hear me even if you can't see me? Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me? Okay, great, thank you. If there is ever a time where you can't hear me, please let me know either through Skype or you can let Sanjay know so that I can do what I need to do to get back to the video conference. All right, so with those two reminders to introduce yourself when you begin speaking and to say thank you when you are done and to actively be engaged in our discussion, let's go ahead and begin. The first question that I would like to pose to all of you is the following. Is freedom of belief important? So I want you to think about that for a minute. Is freedom of belief important? Now there's a second part to this question. What does freedom of belief mean to you personally? So I would like you to think of personal responses to this question. I don't need to know what a textbook might say about this topic, what maybe your teachers say, or even your family. I want to know what you think about this topic. So let me remind you of the two questions. Is freedom of belief important? And what does freedom of belief mean to you? I would like to start off by having 3 or 4 students only share their personal thoughts about this topic. I would like to go in the following order. Now, while your partner schools are presenting, if you are having a difficult time understanding what they are saying, please let me know. You can always request a repeat. And if a student needs to maybe be reminded to speak a little bit slowly, I am happy to remind them. This is a virtual experience for all of us, and sometimes a little reminder to talk slower is helpful. All right, so again, the questions are, is freedom of belief important? And what does freedom of belief mean to you? Let's start with Tagore, then go to SMP Lab School. Then let's go to Dian Didaktika. And then last to Xavier, please. If I mispronounced any of your schools, please let me know so that I can correct the pronunciation. Again, 3 to 4 students per school. All right, let's go over to Tagore. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dilpreet and I'm from Tagore International. From my perspective, freedom of belief is very important as everyone in this world should have a right to choose or to change their religion no matter what is their religion from their birth. Freedom of beliefs give us the right to worship any god, like to worship any god and to actually change their religion if they want to. Thank you.
Good. My name is Manveer and I am from Tagore International School east of Kailash. Freedom of belief is important because it's a belief to change your religion. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Priyanshi and I am from Tagore International School. I believe that freedom of belief is important because it each one of us has the right and it's our choice whether we want to follow a particular religion or some other religion, or we can for our following. It is important as it also reduces the amount of discrimination that is happening. According to me, that uh, due to the when someone has the freedom to choose their religion, no one can discriminate or force them to follow any other religion. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Chetna and I'm from Tagore International School. As per me, freedom of belief is important because everyone has the right to choose their religion, no matter what their religion is. No matter what their religion is. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That was a great start. Let's now go over to SMP Lab School, please. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jasmine and I am from Lab School Chibubur. And in my opinion, I think the freedom of belief is really important because every person have the right to choose whatever they believe or what they not believe. If, for example, a community does not have the freedom to believe, then the people inside the community is forced into believing the community's beliefs. One of the examples of a community that have a freedom to believe is my country, Indonesia. We have the rights to choose what religion, and we cannot be discriminated by that decision. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Priyanka. I'm from Lab School Cibubur. In my opinion, the freedom to believe is very important because everyone has their own opinion and views towards what is wrong and right, and everyone has the rights to believe in what they want to believe, and no one can discriminate that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bindra from Lab School Cibubur. For me, freedom of belief is it's not just important, but it is a requirement for all humans. And because without freedom of belief, humans will not be able to be creative or to make decisions in life. It is one of the fundamentals of living a happy and prosperous life. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Zaki from Lab School Cibubur. I think freedom of belief is important because everybody anywhere is allowed to choose what they want, and that includes choosing their beliefs according to what their heart says. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next let's go to Dian Didaktika, Islamic Junior High. And if I said that wrong, I apologize. Please let me know. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tajma and from Dian Didaktika, and I think that freedom of belief is very important because it describes that everyone is equal no matter what religion they are, and every person has different perspective of things that are right and wrong, and if we are forced to do things that we think is not right, we can't really grasp the concept and we just end up being kind of contradicted to what we believe, and it's not really nice. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Asha, and I think freedom of belief is really important because everybody has different views and opinions on things, and if they are forced to believe in a religion that they actually don't, they will do things like half-heartedly because it contradicts on what they actually believe in, even though that like potential to uh, do other things, but because they are forced to believe in a specific religion, they won't be able to do that. And also, uh, people have different like opinions on things, so they can't be forced to believe in a religion. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dika. I'm from Dian Didaktika Junior High School, and I think freedom of religion is very important because every people have different belief about that, and uh, relating about religion and other. Um, and in Indonesia, uh, we are guaranteed to have the freedom of belief by the Constitution, and uh, thank you.
Thank you. All right, and let's go to Xavier School, please.
Hello, my name is Alec Wang. I'm an 11th grader from Xavier School. Uh, Personally, I believe that freedom of belief is our given ability to have the option to break break the norm it is our option to see our own views of the world. Break Freedom of belief extends to more than religion. For me, freedom of belief is our right to make choices even if these choices do not reflect the majority. For me, freedom of belief is what allows the human race to progress, as of the most significant events in history have been based upon someone breaking in beliefs. Many All scientific discoveries, every important event that has happened, every important discovery that has transpired has been someone exercising their ability, freedom of belief, and doing what they can to show that their opinion is just as valid as everyone else's. The human history has, personally for me, just been a compilation of people exercising this ability. And without freedom of belief, I think that we could not have progressed as far as we did. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a request, when students at Xavier speak, will you speak a little closer to the microphone? Thank you.
Hello, I am Paul from Xavier, and I'd like to say that for me, freedom of speech is, freedom of belief. It's a necessary part of human liberty, which is a right of humanity. It's something that all of us deserve to have, and all of us need in order to have a well-functioning society. And for me, freedom of belief basically means that we are all allowed to have our own religion and our own ideals, but also we do not force it onto other people, and we are, in a way, we have like a mutual respect. Like, I believe what I want, you believe what you want, and we don't criticize each other for that. Um, yeah, and yeah, basically that's it for me. Thank you.
Xavier School, are you there? Okay, I think maybe we just lost them. So what I'd like to pose now for you to think about is, it appears to me, based on all of the student responses, that most of you feel that freedom of belief is important, not just for you personally, but also as we try to live with each other in communities, in countries, as a global world. So I've heard a lot of people talk about the fact that freedom of belief allows you to believe what you want, allows others to believe what they want. So my question is, how does freedom of belief really work in our world? Do you think we do a pretty good job with it? Or do you think we struggle as humans with it? So I want you to think about, I know that question wasn't specifically on the agenda, but this is an opportunity to really listen and practice your active listening skills. So Xavier, let me tell you what question we've moved on to, okay? The question is now, as we have discussed this topic amongst 4 schools, there is a consensus that freedom of belief is important, not just to you personally, but in your communities, in your countries. So my question now is, What does it really look like in our society, in our countries, in our schools? Are we good at it as a people? Or do we struggle with this? So I'd like to just open it up to any student. When you would like to speak, just raise your hand or move to the speaking chair and make sure that someone isn't already speaking. But I want some really personal answers about this. How do you think we do as a human race with this? We believe that this is important, but how do we really do when it comes to it? All right, I'll open it up to anybody. Thank you.
Okay, hello. I am Paul from Xavier, and basically the freedom of belief in our country in the Philippines, it's somewhat obstructed because the Catholic Church has a strong influence even over law and politics today. The majority of Filipinos are Catholic, and a lot of them have strong faith in the church, and a lot of its leaders, the bishops, um, have strong opinions, and they're always voicing their opinions on certain things, which is why in our country divorce is not legal. There's only annulment. And also we basically understand that if any politician makes an attempt to bring up, let's say, same-sex marriage or abortion, the Catholic Church's influence will be too strong for that law to actually pass, because its statements have such a powerful effect on the people. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Saskia, and I think in my country, in some societies, freedom of belief is done pretty well, but in some societies as well, it's not that good. I think for some people in our country, in Indonesia, I mean, some people go to groups like, for example, Muslims with Muslims and Christians with Christians and Chinese beliefs with Chinese beliefs. And even in each communities, we tend to fight over beliefs. Like, for example, in Muslim beliefs, like they fight over which one's right and which one's wrong. And in Chinese, they kind of mix their culture and also other religions. So it's a bit hard to say which one's right and which one's wrong. And also, if we're the minority, if we're different from the community itself, we sometimes get a little bit back off from the whole society. Thank you.
Hi. Hi, good morning. I am Jake. I am good morning. Hi, good morning. I am Jacob from Xavier School. I think in the Philippines, freedom of belief is very limited, yet very, very big, very large, I suppose. Since we have a very, very big community. The Philippines is a very, very big country in terms of population. The Philippines is divided into many religions, different groups, such as in the Mindanao, we have a large population of Mindanao, which is the southern part of the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. While in the north, the religion is majority of us are Catholics. Majority of the Filipinos are Catholics. Yet there are still some minorities such as Buddhist, Chinese Buddhist, Hindu, Protestants, or even atheists. The Philippines has a very, very large population in terms of Catholic Church. The Philippine population for Catholic Church is around 80% of the entire population, which means more than 80 million people. This means that the Catholic Church, which interferes then with our government, the Senate, the Legislative Board, every time a topic appears, such as RH bill, which is a bill that limits people from actually getting making children, which limits families to having two children, or at least one, since our population is growing. So this means that the Catholic Church then interferes with the government, creating rallies, protests against the law that that is trying to be passed, which is the RH bill. Other bills such as divorce. We don't have divorce here in the Philippines, but we have annulment. Annulment is a lighter version of divorce, yet it's still not divorce, as it's still against you're divorced, but it means you're not living in the same house, but doesn't mean that you can marry again, something like that. And there is been a lot of discrimination here in the Philippines in terms of people from other countries not knowing that many people are getting discriminated here. Bajau people, these are natives. They are being discriminated by the military government they are being kicked out of their land, their native lands, and these militaries are then building bases there, airports, naval bases, etc. These people are then being their freedom of belief
If I
is being
could just
executed.
interject, I appreciate your answer, and it's quite lengthy. I think that maybe we could just have a little bit shorter responses so that it can give other schools opportunities to respond. So if you could just kind of wrap up what you were saying, and then we could let another student, maybe at your school or another school, also share their thoughts. Thank you.
Okay. To wrap up, I can say here in the Philippines we are very open to different types of religions, but yet there are still some people in our country that's very discriminative with how they treat other people and what their beliefs are. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We've had a couple students from Xavier respond, and we have had a student from Dian Didaktika respond. Do we have any students from Tagore or SMP Lab School want to respond? Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Hello. Answer now. Hello, my name is Priyanka from Lab School Cibubur, and well, in our school at least, we to get into the school at least we have to have at least a religion or a belief. But majorly in Indonesia, we have the right to choose what we want to believe, and even though that majorly in Indonesia, the religion the majority of Indonesians are Muslims, we are not allowed, and we rarely discriminate the minorities such as Buddhists, Hindus, and Christians. Like for example, the governor of Jakarta is a Christian. Thank you.
Okay. To me, I'm going to give my opinion globally. I'm going to give a global opinion. To me, many nations have practiced freedom of belief by making laws that allows all citizens to freely choose what they believe without the threat of discrimination, and creating a more liberal society. Many nations, including my own nation. But unfortunately, in some places, especially in communist countries like North Korea, Russia, or Cuba, uh, the government oppress their people's right of freedom in general, not just freedom of belief, but freedom in general, making poverty rates higher in the last decade. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move forward, I just want to see if Tagore has any students that want to respond. Thank you.
Hello. In our country, in India, it is one of the most diverse countries in terms of religion. India is the birthplace for major world religions: Sikhism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. In India, the majority of the people are Hindus, and according to me, it depends upon a person, individual, whether he or follows uh, freedom of belief or not. And in India as well, some people do follow freedom of belief, and it's being done a pretty good job. But some people, there is a little bit of discrimination as well. But I think people are still trying to work upon it, and yes, that's it. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Siddhant Anand from Tagore International School. According to me, freedom of in India, freedom of religion is a fundamental right guaranteed by Article 15 and 25 of our Constitution. Even though Hindus form close to 80% of the notably Jammu and Kashmir with Muslim majority and Nagaland with Christian.
I just want to interject. Can the other schools hear the speaker? Thumbs up, or if you can't, thumbs down, please. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought was happening. So we heard the young lady speak, and that came through clearly, but maybe you could try, young sir, to repeat what you were saying. Thank you.
Okay. Freedom of religion is guaranteed in India. It is a fundamental right guaranteed by Article 15 and 25 of our Constitution. Even though Hindus form 80% of the 80% of the population, India also enjoys multiple religion, with the majority population of religions, notably Jammu and Kashmir with Muslim majority, Punjab and Sikh majority, and Nagaland with Christian majority. The country has large Muslim, Sikh, Jain, Christian population, and the Muslim Indian form about the third largest Muslim population in the world, accounting over 14% of the nation's population. Thank you.
Thank you. So I heard a lot of you kind of start to share your thoughts about how we're really doing. I think that you all made a good case for your country or community having to deal with diversity when it comes to beliefs. And I think that's something maybe a little bit later in the video conference we'll come back to. So I think all of you know that freedom of belief is in the Declaration of Human Rights, right, that was passed by the United Nations. So not only is it something that many countries have adopted, but it is something that the United Nations has adopted. So this is a question I want to pose that is going to build off of what we've been talking about. Do you believe that freedom of belief is protected today for all groups? Or is it something that the majority enjoys, but the minority doesn't necessarily have the same right? So I want you to think about that. I'm going to give you some think time. I want you to think about your community, think about your school, think about your country. Think about what happens when there's a majority. The students at Xavier already talked a little bit about this, sharing that Catholicism is 80% of their country's population, and that the Catholic Church has a huge influence on government and policy. So let's scale that down a little bit. Think about your school, think about your friends, think about your community, and then apply that to freedom of belief. So is freedom of belief protected for everybody, for all groups, even your smallest minorities? Or is it not? Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute to think about that. And then when I come back on, we'll go ahead and have some time to share what your thoughts are about that. Thank you. Okay, hopefully you've had time to think about that. Let's have a couple students from each school share their thoughts. Please remember to keep your thoughts concise so that everyone that wants to share can share. I'll just open it up to anyone who would like to share. Thank you.
Hello. I would like to talk about how freedom of belief is practiced in our school. For example, when the assemblies are conducted, the morning assemblies, we have certain special assemblies for the festivals. So we celebrate each and every festival in our school, whether it is a Hindu festival or a Muslim festival. For example, Diwali. Diwali is a major Hindu festival which we celebrate in our school, and even Eid, which is a Muslim festival, is celebrated in our school with the same enthusiasm. And even other festivals of Guru Purab, which is a Sikh festival, even that is celebrated in our school. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Dilpreet. Uh, Good morning, my name is Dilpreet. I agree with my friend Priyanshi that our school celebrates each and every festival. Our school also conducts debates on every topic, on every religion, on social communities, etc. We do not discriminate anyone. Each and every right for each individual in our school is the same, whether it be a Christian, Muslim, or a Sikh. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Manveer. I am from Tagore International School. In our country, every citizen is equal before the law. Nobody is discriminated. And like Hinduism, they are not given more importance than the other communities. In the Indian Constitution and the preamble, it is also given the word secular, thereby implying that the state will not discriminate or patronize in the profession of any religion. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to maybe another school. So if another student is ready to share, go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Asha and I'm from Dian Didaktika school, and in my school I think that we are taught to respect other people's religion and say our opinion, but sometimes outside of school, if a person will say like, sure, I'll respect you and your beliefs and stuff, but when that person doesn't have the same opinion, they believe, they just ignore them or won't hang out with them anymore like they used to. So, and yeah, it's from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Your sound was a little choppy, so I just want to clarify what you said for everyone. I think that you said that maybe at school, everyone has to respect each other's beliefs, but maybe outside of school, when people disagree, there are other consequences. Maybe you aren't friends with someone anymore, or maybe you ignore them. Is that right? Can I get a thumbs up if that was the overall? Okay, great. Thank you. Open it up again to any other students. It looked like some students at SMP wanted to share. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ningrum. I'm from Lab School Chibuber Junior High School. In my humble opinion, freedom of belief in my environment is a little bit endangered because somehow the people near in my neighborhood are very strict with their own religion, that they would probably force another people to go on their way. Well, it is actually against the human rights and also the freedom of belief. And also, in my humble opinion, freedom of belief should be protected to prevent false advertisement in one religion, because it could make war between religion. And religion was made for peace, not for war. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dazai, and I think like it's true that when she said that in our school, it taught us to respect each other and things like that. But yeah, to be true, I think outside of our school, some people are pretty, they don't really respect other people. But in my religion, they told us to respect other religion, like any religion, because like so we don't have this conflict between each other. But like our majority here is Muslim, right? I think some of them are not really, they don't really learn about the religion. They just say that they're Muslim or whatever religion they are, but I'm pretty sure some of them just don't learn their religion, so that's why people discriminate each other, or they just go around said that bad things about their religion. And yeah, that's like it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there was a young man at SMP Lab School that wanted to make a comment, but we couldn't hear you. Go ahead and try again.
Hello, my name is
The microphone's really crackly, so it's a little bit difficult. Try again. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nafi from SMP Lab School Cibubur. And my opinion is that the majority of Indonesians are Muslims, and there's no difference in our school. We have lessons about Christianity and Buddhism, even if most of our students are Muslims. And that's not so different than our country. In Indonesia, we still have churches and Buddhist temples. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like your teacher to maybe try to sort out the microphone issue, because it is very difficult to understand. Maybe you could Skype with Sanjay behind the scenes. All right, it looks like there's a student at Xavier, so let's have one more response to this topic before we move on. Thank you.
All right. So personally, I believe that the group that has the least capacity to exercise their freedom of belief is us as the youth. The opinions of the youth are often overlooked in favor of the conformities that adults put us through. A lot of times these conformities force us to adhere to the beliefs of the culture of elders, values held by the school or values held by the country, and these at times can go against our personal opinions. And when we try to voice out these opinions, however, these are taken as youthful rebellion, which which sort of undermines the value of our opinion as young people. One example of this personally is our is as a Chinese person, I am extremely limited in the friends that I can make. Personally, in my opinion, I could make friends with anyone who's friendly with me. But according to my elders, I should associate myself with Chinese people as I am Chinese. Although this does not adhere to my own personal opinions, I have to follow this set of beliefs because I should respect my elders and because as a youth, I should just listen to what they want me to do. And on a global scale, an example of this would be the opinions held by older British gentlemen following the Brexit vote. The Brexit vote was very, the young people of Britain were very against this. And this was greatly shown following the actual Brexit vote. That most of the older population in Britain didn't actually think it through, even though the young people would be affected. So in a way, we can see the struggle of freedom of belief not being accepted just because we are younger. Yet it is us who have to suffer the consequences of the beliefs we have to conform to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So what I'd like to do now is move to kind of the third part of the agenda. I really appreciate your comments. I appreciate your examples. I appreciate your personal responses. All of those are really good things. I have one more question that I would like to pose to you collectively, and then I would like to open it up for you to ask each other questions based on this topic, freedom of belief. So my next question is, what do the major religions say about human rights? What do they maybe say about freedom of belief? We had a student share at Dian Didaktika that sometimes people claim to belong to a group. They maybe don't really understand the beliefs or teachings of that group. So let's apply that to the world religions. What do you think they say about this topic? Now this is a little tricky because most religions believe they're right? That they are the correct religion or they have the correct beliefs. So take a step back, acknowledge that, and then think, what do the major world religions teach or say about human rights or about freedom of belief? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a minute to talk together as a class about this. And then I want you to pick one person to represent your collective thoughts on this topic. And then we'll go through and have each school share with their spokesperson. So you have a couple minutes to talk about this, and then I'll come back on and you will need to pick your spokesperson to share on this topic. So again, the question is, what do the major religions say about human rights, about freedom of belief? Thank you. Okay, please wrap up your thoughts and choose a spokesperson. This is the order that I would like you to present in. Let's start with Dian Didaktika, then SMD Lab School, then Xavier, and then Tagore. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Difla. In my religion, uh, religion is a personal thing. You can't force someone to believe what your belief. So in Islam, there's lakum dinukum waliyadin. That means like our religion, my religion is my religion, and your religion is your religion. So you cannot like discriminate someone, and it means like it's personal thing, and you can choose what religion that you want to believe. So you have to like responsible to other religion and just learn about your religion and don't like force someone to believe what you believe like that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's go to our next school. I believe that that was SMD Lab School. Chi, thank you. I'm sorry, I think your microphone's muted. Try to unmute and then begin again. Thank you. All right, while you work on that microphone issue, we'll come back to you. Let's go to Xavier's school now. Thank you.
So, one of the big issues I see in the Philippines is how we fail to separate church and state. A lot of our laws are based on Christian values, and thus this alienates a lot of the minority groups in the country, as these laws are made for the majority, but they're not made for all people equally. A lot of laws are actually made for Christian people, such as the law on annulment. A lot of our laws are based on the family units that are normal in a Christian family, but do not take into consideration the different aspects or dynamics of more dynamic family units that are not based on the Christian norm. Uh, so though we are open to other cultures, we tend to emphasize ourselves more than the minority. We tend to emphasize the majority more than the minority. Though this allows most people to exercise their beliefs, this this prevents the minority from enjoying the same benefits that we do. Uh, Another aspect of this can be seen in how many of our politicians quote the Bible when they are running for their positions, emphasizing how important Christian values are to politics. And this should not be, because politics should be for all and not for just the majority. Politics should be what guides the country towards opening itself to a greater variety of people, not just entertaining what we already have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to Tagore, and then we'll go back to lab school. All right. Go for it, Tagore. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Cyril and I am from Tego International School. I think that this world is a whole family, and in our country, India, Hinduism is a majority religion. Everyone is treated to be equal, but nowadays people are deforming these principles and for their own needs, and people are becoming more selfish for themselves. No, actually, no religion teaches us to be unequal with any religion or any people. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, I'm Aryan. Hinduism teaches us that whole world is as one family and we should not discriminate any other religion. We should maintain peace and harmony in the whole world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to SMD Lab School. Thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me now? Is it fixed? Okay. Well, what I think is that they would say that humans has the rights to choose what they think is right rather than be forced, because every religion teach us to be right, not teach us doing wrong things.
Good morning. My name is Rabindra. I'm from Lab School Cibubur. For me, in general, religions promote peace for its followers. It comes down to what's best for the individual. But practices in a religion depends on the interpretation and the actions made by the people involved in the name of the religion. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to cut it off there. Remember, you were just supposed to have one spokesperson per school. So let's now open it up to student is being discriminated because of their religion. Okay, so let's have at least one student from each school respond to this question, including SMP Lab School. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for the question. It was a really wonderful question. And I think if I see someone discriminating a student or a person based on his or her religion, I would really like to speak up to the cause of the student. I would really like to know the reason why he or she is being discriminated, and I would like to I'll even talk to the person about like how we should not discriminate based on the religion of a person. Each and every religion is equal, and that's what the human rights also teaches. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Can I have some other students respond?
Good morning. My name is Manvi. If I see somebody being discriminated, I will stop that person who is discriminating him. I will tell him that we should accept the person by his values, not by his or her religion. And I will tell him that the freedom of religion or belief is a right given by the Constitution, and the human rights should not be misinterpreted in any way. Thank you.
Thank you. Tagore, do I have a student from each of the other schools that would like to answer this question, please?
Good morning, Assalamualaikum to everyone. I am Nino of Xavier School. I would like, what I would do if I see a person being
Could you
discriminated.
just move a little closer to the microphone? Thank you.
Sure. What I would like to do if a person is being discriminated because of his or her beliefs is that being the person who is witnessing at hand the situation, I'd first calm down both parties and then talk to the one offended and ask how he or she feels about it, and then also talk to the one who committed the act of discrimination and remind him or her that it is very important to respect one's beliefs because it is through respecting beliefs that we get to achieve the peace that we would like to achieve. And that being a student in the context of the school, I think I would also report to authorities, to teachers, what happened so that we could process everything that happened for the whole community or for the class of the students involved to be reminded to respect beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you. Great response. Would any other students like to answer this question?
Hello?
My name is Asha, and I think if I see someone being discriminated or called names, I'll definitely try to help them in a way, or maybe just like just like help them in a way, or if I couldn't, like I'm too scared, if the person who's discriminating a friend is really makes me nervous and stuff like that, I'll just probably talk to he, her the next day or later that day. Thank you.
Thank you. Also a good response. And over to SMP Lab School. Thank you.
My name is Ardan. I will treat everyone as there will be no difference if I solve it with violence. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to open it now to another question. Maybe another school could ask a question.
I would like to ask to my friends from the other schools that are the rights of the minority groups or religions in their country supported?
All right, that's a very good question. So the question is to look at your own country and to tell us if you think or not personally that the rights of minorities are being protected in your own country. So that's kind of tricky because no one wants to make their country look bad, and so that's not the point of this, but to honestly think about the question, are the rights of the minorities in your country protected? Okay, just open that up to any student that might want to answer that question. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Oh, udah. Hello, my name is Faya Riza. I'm from Lab School Cibubur, and yes, in my opinion, it is protected and tolerated by the government. I mean, we have the other place for the other minority to for the minorities to do their praying and stuff like that. But I also think that maybe there are like these people that still cannot tolerate with them, and but the most of us we can accept them well, and work with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Great answer. Let's go to Dian Didaktika. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Najma, and even though the law state that everyone has the right to choose what they believe, it kind of contradicts on different islands in Indonesia because in Java majorities are Muslims, but in other places it's different. And the thing that the minority, it is really different in each part of Indonesia. If because the minorities are also different groups, and even though the law states that it guarantees that the freedom of every citizen to choose his or her own religion, I think that there are some people that still discriminate, even though it's from a group of minority or a group of majority. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to answer this question before we move to another one?
Good morning. I'm Dilpreet from Tagore International School. I think in my country, the religions of minorities groups are supported. As India is a secular country, many rights, every religion is treated equally, and many rights are made for the same. Minorities religions are in fact welcomed in our country. Many minority states are made in India. Also, many rights are made to protect, which forbids their discrimination. But it is on the people to execute these laws. Whether it is also on them that they do they want to accept these minorities or not. Thank you.
You know, I think that the students that have responded to this question have brought up a very good point. And I'd like to mention that point now. So if I could have your attention. I think that you can agree that your governments have laws in place to protect the rights of people with different beliefs. But I've heard every single school share that, yes, our government does this. However, it's up to the people, right? The people to carry out those laws. So a government can have the law, but if the people don't follow the law, then we can have problems. And sometimes, in some cases, the government even kind of looks the other way. So I want to actually jump in and ask a question because I know that we're getting a little closer to the end of our time. I want you to think now very carefully about this next question. How can you advocate for freedom of belief? We know that it's in your governments. We know that it's in your schools. But what can you do to help those that struggle with this, that believe that people that have other ideas or other thoughts or other lifestyles, other religions, you know, that they're wrong, that they shouldn't have the right to think that way or to do that? So let's go back to this. What can you do to advocate for freedom of belief? Now, I'd like you to discuss this again as a class, to think about ways maybe as a class, as a school, as an individual, that you can help advocate for freedom of belief. And then I would like you to pick one person again to represent your school's answer. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think about the question. Again, how can you advocate for freedom of belief? Thank you. Okay, please choose your school representative to share your class thoughts on this topic.
Hello. According to me, what has been done in the past cannot be undone. What we can do is to do something good in the future. The future is in our hands. Being the youth of the world, it's in our hands that we should not discriminate anyone, whether it is on the basis of religion, race, caste, color, or anything. We should not discriminate people. I believe that my freedom stops where someone else's freedom begins. This means that each one of us, every individual should respect the choices, the views and opinions of other people. We should not force something, and we should not force them to believe our views, our points, and some particular thing that they do not want to believe. Thank you.
So let me follow up on that. So what do you think you could do to advocate for that belief? As a class, what did you talk about? What can you do to help others buy into freedom of belief, or to help others understand what it is? Thank you.
As a person, I can make people, I can tell people about how they should respect each and every person and everyone's choices and what they believe in. I can, as a class, we can encourage each other to respect each other, and if we see someone discriminating, we should go up and tell the person who is doing the act of discriminating to stop and respect the people who are different and who are inferior, who are different to them. Thank you.
Thank you. It looks like Xavier School is ready to go. Let's go there now. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Jacob from Xavier School. As Xavier School face global, as our group discussed, what I can do as a student and as a advocate of human rights And as
Could
a
you
person,
just hold the microphone a little closer to you? Thank you.
uh, as a student and a advocate for human rights, and I believe that we all have a right to have our freedom of belief. So to create a, we c- we can protect these different beliefs by freedom of beliefs by creating a small non-profit organization which is non-governmental. It will be separated from government so that we can by our small little by my small little acts help people who are being discriminated for their different beliefs. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Salsa from Labsco Chibubur. So to advocate freedom of belief, we have to other religions. For example, we can stand up to those who have different religions and not tease or mock them, um, and not discriminate them. As long as they are not laws, we can go to the higher level, higher authority.
All right, thank you. And then the last school, which hasn't shared yet, is Dian Didaktika. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Najma, and I think the way I contribute, basically, I can tell my family and neighbors around me that it's okay to have your own opinion, but you need to respect others' opinion. So in that way, there's no conflict between others' religion, and I can contribute by, you know, I I can make myself realize there are actually problems outside my country and inside my country about other religion, and I can tell that news to my friends. So we kind of like wake up from this thing that we just like we have comfortable life, and just because this is like just because 90% of our people are Muslims, but there are other Muslims outside, there are not really enjoying that freedom of belief, and there are also some minority group in our country that's not enjoying our freedom of belief. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. If everyone could pay attention, I think that last comment is really important. I think it's important to acknowledge, like she said, within our own countries we have problems, and outside of our country we have problems, and then try to work through those problems. I think sometimes when we think there are no problems and everyone is getting along, then that's not always honest and realistic. Okay, we have a few minutes left, and so I would like to begin the reflection part of the video conference. So I am going to give you 3 things that I want you to think about in regard to the video conference. 3 questions. Question 1. What is something you learned today? So we've been talking for almost an hour and a half now. What have you learned? Okay. Number 2. What has surprised you? Number 2. What has surprised you from our discussion? And number 3, what do you wish we had had time to talk about? Or what would you like to know more about? So those are 3 questions. 1, what is something you learned? 2, what is something that surprised you? And 3, what would you like to know more about? I would like you to talk together as a class and come up with answers to those questions together. And then I want you to pick one student to share those 3 answers. You have time to talk together. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and start. Remember, you're answering 3 questions and you have 1 spokesperson per school. Let's go ahead and start with Dian Didaktika. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alvaro and I'm from SMP Dian Didaktika. First, what do I learn about today? So, first thing, this is really important because without freedom of beliefs, with we learning that, now we can respect others more because of this talking. Because, because you know, we're from Indonesia, from India, and from Philippines, had lots of religions, and that's why we can know the things that beliefs in other countries. And the second question, what surprised me surprised me is in Philippines, I don't know that laws and religions are very stricted. And then the third question, what do I want to learn more? I want to learn about conflicts between two countries and 2 different religions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You did a great job. Let's now go to SMP Lab School, Chibubur.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. My name is Zaki from SMP Lab School Chibubur. Today I learned that many people have different opinions, and we are allowed to choose their own religion and beliefs. And it is protected by the law so much. what surprised me is that people's belief is really protected by the law. And for the final question, that is, what I can learn more is about deeper about the religion, what people's believe. Not only in Indonesia, Philippines, and India, but at the religion. And I also wish that we could learn about the ideology of each nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's now go to Xavier. Thank you.
What? So I'm Vince Lim from Xavier School, and what I learned and surprised me today is how the youth nowadays are open to different cultural diversities. Like before, there's a lot of discrimination, but now, whatever you are, we'll accept you, and I just wish that we should have had more time to talk about how family values change your perception of the freedom of belief. Thank you.
Thank you. And now over to Tagore.
First of all, I want to thank Face to Face to give me this opportunity to discuss on such good topic. I have learned many things in this video conference, that how freedom of belief is very important. Each country should have the right of freedom of belief so that each and every person can follow his or her own religion. And the thing which me more is that one of my friends said that the elders are forcing the youngsters to follow or to talk to the people those who are only of their own community. This thing have surprised me more, and the topic on which I want to talk more is on diversity and how to solve the problem of discrimination in people on religion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know we've gone about to the end of the video conference, and I want to thank you for your participation. I know that you were speaking in a second language, and we were talking about some pretty big and complex ideas. I appreciate your participation, your comments, and your questions. I would like to now end the video conference by having each school unmute their microphone and to now say goodbye as friends. Thank you, everybody.